Cool now. How many of you are raising tomatoes? Good, our years are doing a little better than ours. We're expecting a harvest around October. But you know, those plants need a little bit of care. Some watering, weeding, maybe some fertilizer. Back at Easter time, I got this gift. It was a carton of eggs. I thought, until I picked it up and it weighed about 2.5 ounces. It was an herb garden. It was really neat. It was a paper egg carton. The instructions were cut the top off, put it underneath it. And then there were these briquettes. Just put in so much water, and this black soil came out of it. So with these 12 compartments, 6 different packets of seeds, plant the seeds. And honestly, within about 3 days, one of them started to sprout over. I think it was the camel. And after 2 weeks, one of them finally just started to poke up a little bit. I checked this out on Google, and of course it depends on temperature and conditions, but germination time, according to them, ranges from a week up to 8 months for hard-shell seeds. So you know, you plant a seed, well, where is it? Jack and the beanstalk, overnight, to the sky. That's what I want. And we all love that. Instant action. But we plant seeds. Thursday was the anniversary of the death of Father Augustus Tolton, the first Latin priest in America. He died in 1897, I think. Yes. At the age of 43. Our bishop, sometime back, it was 6 or 7 weeks ago, challenged us to pray for healing of racial wounds by fasting and abstaining for 6 Fridays that ended this past Friday. And it was a very deliberate setup to end on the day after the anniversary of the death of this first black priest. Augustus Tolton was born in 1854 in Missouri to a slave family. There are 2 different accounts of how the family entered into freedom and moved north. But they ended up in the Chicago area, Princeton, Illinois, where that is exactly. And they were Catholics. And the local pastor, Father Peter McCurry, took an interest in Augustus. He was a sharp kid. And he put him in the parochial school. Now this was up north. And there were a lot of abolitionists in that parish. But there was quite an outcry about this black boy going to the parochial school. Peter McCurry kept him in school. And he nurtured him for years, academically. And he was so impressed and recognized the seeds of the religious vocation. When it was time for Augustus to go and start his seminary studies, not a single diocese in the country would accept him in their seminary. But this darn priest was so determined, he managed to step into Rome. And he did all his studies in Rome. in Latin and Italian, and he was ordained in St. Peter's Basilica. The plan was he would go and serve in the African missions where he would fit in. And I don't know the details on this, but those plans changed, and he was brought back to the Chicago area to minister to black Catholics. It did not go easily. Eventually, he ended up forming a national black parish, St. Monica's, which was very successful. But the path toward that was not easy. Local parishes were not happy about a new church start. One of the pastors was adamant that no whites be permitted to come to church in this black church. What I found most amazing was that the black Protestant churches were against all of this because they didn't want to lose members to this black Catholic priest. Well, Augustus was a brilliant preacher, had a magnificent singing voice, and he was quite a success. He died quite suddenly, almost overnight, at the age of 43. And now his cause is up for sainthood. A seed was planted by this determined Catholic priest, Peter McVeary. I think he should be up for sainthood too. But it's a seed, it hasn't quite sprouted yet. I have known black Catholic priests, some from the missions, some born in the States, but I haven't known many. We don't have a lot of black parishioners, but we do have some. And it's a gift to see some differences in our midst. And I know we don't have a lot of black families in the area. But this is a seed that we have to continue to nurture because it hasn't sprouted yet. It just hasn't sprouted yet. And when you look back at a history like ours, like the history of Augustus Tolton, you can see that we've got a task ahead of us to make it clear that when we say everyone is welcome, everyone is welcome. But this gospel story, this parable, and this homily are about more than dealing with the fruit of the harms of racism. This is about planting seeds and not quitting because they don't sprout right away. Planting seeds and not giving up because birds come and gobble some up or thorns choke them out. Keep planting those seeds of encouragement and invitation and welcome, of mercy and forgiveness and care. Sometimes seeds of challenge and correction. Keep planting them, keep nurturing them. This prayer is attributed to Mother Teresa. I don't think she composed it. As I understand, it hung on her wall. People may be unreasonable, selfish, and mean. Love them anyway. If you do good, people may accuse you of selfish motives. Do good anyway. If you're successful, you may win unfaithful friends and genuine enemies. Be a success anyway. If you're honest, others may deceive you. Be honest anyway. What you spend years building up may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. If you're happy, others may be jealous or suspicious. Be happy anyway. The good you do today may soon be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have. It may never be enough, but give your best anyway. Plant those seeds. It's a great little parable. Very graphic about these seeds that don't make it. But you know, most of the seed fell on rich soil. 100-fold. And heck, even 30 is pretty good. Keep planting those seeds. May God bless us all.